Hello, Nadia. How are you?
Hello, fine, thank you.
Can you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, okay. My name is Nadia Catenazzi. I work for SUPSI, the University of Applied Sciences of Southern Switzerland, in the Department of Innovative Technology. We are based in Lugano. I am responsible, together with Lorenzo Sommaruga, of the educational and open science technologies research areas. And the subject of this talk is open educational resources. And in particular, I will speak about how to create and share open educational resources. The target of this talk are mainly trainers, educators, but also students and researchers who are interested in this topic. Um, why I'm going to speak about open educational resources? The starting point for this work was an analysis of the digital competencies educators must have nowadays. And there are some standard frameworks that describe the digital competencies of educators. So before starting the section concerning open educational resources, I will make an overview of the digital competencies of educators. And then I will define the concept of OERs, of licenses. I will mention some repositories of OERs. And also, I will explain how it is possible to create open educational resources.
Okay.
Concerning digital competencies of educators, there are some standard frameworks. One of these is the DigiComp Edu framework. It is a European framework that classifies educators' competencies into 6 areas called professional engagement, digital resources, teaching and learning, assessment, etc. And inside the second area, there are some competencies that are selecting, creating, modifying, protecting, sharing digital resources. And the topic of this presentation is exactly in this area. This is just to mention that the competence of creating digital resources is one of the is important according to this framework. There is also another framework about competencies of educators, of trainers. This framework was defined by UNESCO, and in this case, we find 16 digital competencies organized in 6 areas and classified according to increasing levels of sophistication, from the basic competence to the more advanced competences. And associated to each competence, there are some learning objectives. Just to make an example, inside the basic knowledge competence in the curriculum and assessment area, there is a learning objective that says search for and identify OER to support curriculum standards. This means that an educator has to be able to search for educational resources to support his own curriculum. Another example of a competence or learning objectives inside the knowledge application competence is here. The educator, the trainer, has to be able not only to find an existing resource, but also to adapt it to his own need. This is another example of another learning objective that is connected to licenses. Is a subject that we are going to consider later. So going back to the main subject of this presentation, we will start by introducing the concept of open educational resources according to UNESCO, who defines the concept in 2012. UNESCO's define open educational resources as learning, teaching, and research materials in any medium. This means that it can be in digital form, but not only, that reside in the public domain and have been released under an open license. Open license refers to a license that protects the copyright owner work and at the same time allows the public to access, reuse, repurpose, adapt, redistribute the resource for free. Just show a short video about UNESCO
To build
describing.
sustainable, strong, and resilient societies, we need to be able to access and share knowledge openly. Open educational resources allow us to do so. Open educational resources, OER, are teaching, learning, and research materials in any medium, digital or otherwise, that reside in the public domain or have been released under an open license that permits no cost access, use, adaptation, and redistribution by others. An open license respects the intellectual property rights of the copyright owner. It provides permissions granting the public the rights to access, reuse, repurpose, adapt, and redistribute educational materials. Open educational resources support quality education that is equitable, inclusive, open, and participatory. Open educational resources are central for the development of inclusive knowledge societies and to help achieve the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, especially to reach SDG.
Okay, back to our presentation. We have seen that open educational resources are useful to satisfy some of the goals of the United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. In particular, open educational resources allows education to increase the quality of education, to reach equality, and also to innovate and to in general to increase knowledge all over the world. And a central point on open educational resources are licenses. There are different models for licenses. The most known, the widely applied model is called Creative Commons. Creative Commons includes different attributes that are attribution, share alike, non-commercial, non-derivative, that combined together define 6 different licenses. Let's have a look at the single attribute. CC BY, this is called the attribution aspect, means that anyone can copy, distribute, display, perform, and remix the work, providing a credit to the creator's name. Share alike means that others can copy, distribute, display, perform, and modify the work as long as they distribute any modified work with the same terms, with the same license. No commercial means that anyone can copy, distribute, display, perform, modify the work for any purpose, but not for commercial use. Finally, no derivative works means that anyone can only copy, distribute, display, and perform original copies of the work without modifying it. So this is the basic week of the license. Combining these attributes, we can have the existing licenses that an author can apply to his or her work. And these licenses are organized from the most open to the most restricted. In fact, there is a seventh possibility that is public domain. This is called CC0. And in this case, we don't need even to make a reference to the author of the work. So, I mean, this is the most open license, CC0. Then there is a CC BY that just needs to refer to the author of the work. Then there is CC BY share alike. That means that if another person uses the resource, he has to maintain the same terms. Another license is called CC BY non-commercial. That means that a person who is using the material needs to refer to the author, and it cannot use the work for commercial uses. Another one is CC BY no commercial share alike that combines the two previous licenses. And then there are other two licenses that are not properly for describing OER because they contain the no derivative work attribute that forbids the modification of the work. Okay, this is a clarification about the license that we need to put on open educational resources once produced. From the point of view of an author, the next question is if I have to organize a course, which is what I have to do. A good starting point is to have a look at the existing resources to see if a resource I need has been already published. And there are some repositories containing open educational resources. One of these is OER Commons that contains is a repository of resources in many disciplines and in different formats. Another one is Merlot, that is a collection of open online teaching and learning material. And another example is OpenCourseWare, published by MIT, that contains courses produced and held by the MIT. Just to make an example, I would like to show one of these repository, for instance, Open OER Commons. And any of these repository allows authors to search to discover which are the existing resources, but also to add a new one. I would like just to show what happens when I look for OER, for instance. Search now. And okay, I found several results. I just open one of these, and I found the resource I can use and share. In this case, we have some metadata describing the resource and the license. Back to the presentation. Okay, so the ability to find an existing resource in a repository is one of the options the author has. There are different type of resources, obviously, that ranges from full courses to textbooks, presentations, assignment, audio, video, animation. As I told before, most of these resources are available in digital form, but this is not compulsory. Another important thing is that the resource can be available in different formats, but the format has a strong impact on the use, sharing, and adaptation of the resource. So, if as an author, as a teacher, I have to produce a resource, which are the technologies, the available technologies? Basically, there are two options. One is using a tool, an existing tool, to create educational resources. There is an interesting project called App Inventory that collects a lot of applications useful for producing educational resources. And these tools are organized according to some categories, and it is possible to navigate to expand the different categories and to see the specific resources tools. Another option is to use tools that are specifically developed for OERs. In this case, the tool contains some features that enables discoverability, openness, and sharing. These tools are specifically developed for OER. So, if I need to choose a specific tool, which are the criteria I should consider? One of the main criteria is the type of open educational resources. Because if I need to produce a course, I should choose a tool for that purpose. If I need to produce a video, there are other tools for that purpose. Another important criteria is obviously the possibility, easy, mm, the possibility to apply a specific license in an easy way. Another criteria concerns the hosting capability, because with some tools have associated a hosting service where the resources can be can be stored. Other criteria concern the format, as I told before, and the exporting option, because it is important to choose a format that enables reuse and adaptation. If I choose, for instance, PDF, it's not so easy as another open format, editable format. The cost is another important factor for the author, but also for the student. And finally, accessibility of the produced content can be another factor to be considered when choosing a tool. So to complete this presentation, I will mention some tools that can be used to produce web-based interactive educational resources, such as interactive presentation, videos, animation, quizzes. For instance, H5P and iSpring, and also Articulate, are suitable for producing interactive presentation and videos and quizzes. Powtoon is suitable for producing animation, Camtasia for screencasting. So there are different tools for different purposes. I would like to focus now on one of these tools, H5P, that we used in different European projects for producing educational material. This tool is a free tool that enables authors to create, share, and reuse rich interactive content on the web. These are just some examples of material that authors can create: interactive presentations, interactive videos, games, quizzes, and so on. And the interest for this tool is that it is cross-platform and cross-browser. So I can see an interactive video on my smartphone or on the desktop computer. And just to see some example, I would like to show you a couple of resources. One of these is called interactive presentation. It is a presentation that consists of slides, and inside the slides I can insert some interactive point. For instance, I can insert a quiz. I answer okay, and the system automatically told me is the answer is correct or not. Uh, Obviously, I can see the solution to the quiz. Okay, other kind of interactive activity. So in this
Is
case,
teacher can see this solution after the
yes,
quiz?
yes, and also
Yeah.
students can see the solution. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, these are. I have the possibility to jump to another slide, and I'm back, and I can insert a video inside my presentation. I can insert other type of quizzes and other type of interactive activities. For instance, in this case, I just have to drag this text to the right position. Blueberries begins with a blue color or not, maybe not begin. And then gradually apply the deep blue color. Probably they begin with the green color. And okay, this is what the tool allows me to do. And I can check the solution and retry and see the right solution. So this is just an example. Other examples of what I can do with H5P is, for instance, an interactive video. So interactive videos are videos that have a sort of uh, table of contents to jump directly to a specific place of the presentation, and also contain some interactive points. So this is a recipe of smoothies, and there are some interactive points, for instance quizzes, that stops or not the presentation. And as I told, there are some points where I can stop and do some exercises. Okay, this is just to show some example of what I can do with H5P. There are many other types of contents I can produce. How? There are a number of possibilities. One is using an editor online provided by in the same site where I showed before the examples. It is important to note that I can use the online editor for free, but the hosting service for hosting my resources is not free. So there are other options. For instance, I can use the editor within a content management system using a plugin or within a learning management system such as Moodle. And there is another option that is downloading an application, Lumi, that is a desktop editor that enables to export H5P files as HTML, and then you can load these files on your server or your website. So this is a good opportunity, according to my opinion, to create open educational resources. Okay, that's all.
Okay. Thank you for your
You're
presentation,
welcome.
for your time. I hope to see you soon. Next meetings, next projects.
Okay, sure.
Okay. Thank you again. Take
Okay.
care.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.